This is the 3D VIEW-MASTER classic tale Wizard of Oz. VIEW-MASTER Reel 1. Picture 1. When Dorothy heard Uncle Henry yell, "Cyclone!" she grabbed her dog, Toto, and ran for the storm cellar. Before she reached it, the Kansas whirlwind struck. The farmhouse trembled and the shrieking wind lifted it high in the air. Inside, Dorothy sat quietly. Once Toto fell through the trap door, but the wind held him up until she could drag him to safety. As the hours passed, even worry about what would happen when the house fell could not keep the little girl awake. And Toto slept in her arms. Picture 2. A sudden shock awakened Dorothy. She saw that the house had landed in a green flower-filled country. Outside were two little men dressed in blue and a little woman who sparkled in the sunlight and said, "Welcome, noble sorceress, to the land of the Munchkins. Thank you for killing the wicked witch of the East." "You must be mistaken," cried Dorothy. "I killed no one." "Your house did," replied the woman, laughing, and pointed to two silver-shod feet sticking out from under the house. "Don't cry," said the woman. "Now there's only one wicked witch left, the witch of the West. I am the witch of the North, a good witch, as is the one who lives in the South. More powerful than all of us is Oz, a great wizard who lives in the Emerald City." Picture 3. "If you are a good witch," said Dorothy, "you can help me get back to Kansas. Aunt Em will be worried." The witch shook her head. "I've never heard of Kansas." Seeing Dorothy sob, the witch balanced her cap on her nose. It became a slate with the words, "Let Dorothy go to the Emerald City. Follow the yellow road." The witch whirled around and vanished. "Wear the silver shoes of the Wicked Witch," advised the Munchkins. "They're supposed to have a magic charm." Picture 4. Following their advice, Dorothy and Toto set out down the yellow road. Toward evening, she sat down beside a Scarecrow in a cornfield. As she looked, the stuffed man winked one painted eye. "Good day," said the Scarecrow huskily. "I'm tired of perching on this pole night and day. I wonder if you would lift me down." Dorothy, surprised to hear a Scarecrow talk, climbed on the fence and lifted him free. Shakily, he stood up and, stumbling often, followed the girl and her dog down the road. "I am Dorothy," she introduced herself. "Toto and I are going to ask the Wizard of Oz to send us back to Kansas. Do you know how far it is to the Emerald City?" "No, indeed, I don't know anything. I am stuffed with straw and have no brains at all," he answered sadly. Then, brightening, "I'll go with you and ask the wizard to give me some brains." Picture 5. That night they slept in the forest. Next morning a groan was heard. Entering the woods, Dorothy found a man made entirely of tin, standing rusted and motionless, with his axe still upraised. "Did you groan?" asked Dorothy. "Yes," he replied. "You are the first to hear me. Please take my oil can and oil my rusty joints. Start with my neck. It is so stiff." As she oiled and the Scarecrow polished, the Tin Woodman told his story. "I am a woodman who angered the witch of the East. She enchanted my axe, causing it to cut off my leg. A tinsmith made me a tin leg, but my axe kept slipping until all of me was replaced with tin parts. I am better than you, but unfortunately I have no heart." Dorothy, oiling his arm joint, thought, then said, "We're off to see a great wizard. If you come with us, he might give you a heart." Picture 6. The road led deep into the forest. Suddenly, a lion bounded out with a loud roar. It knocked over the Tin Woodman and set the Scarecrow flying. Toto ran barking toward it. The great mouth opened, but Dorothy ran in and slapped its nose hard. "Don't you dare bite, Toto!" she cried. The lion hung his head. "Only a coward would strike a stuffed man like the Scarecrow. That's why he flew up so easily. Is the other one stuffed?" "No," said Dorothy. "He is made of tin. He nearly blunted my claws. Is the little one stuffed or tin?" "Neither," answered the girl. "He's a meat dog." "Only a coward would bite him," said the lion, wiping a tear with his tail. "All the other animals think I'm brave. If I roar loudly enough, they all run away. If they ever stayed to fight, I'd run." "Come with us," invited the Scarecrow. "If the wizard can give brains to a stuffed man, he can give courage to a cowardly lion." Picture 7. The yellow road led them out of the forest up to the banks of a broad river. The Tin Woodman felled trees and built a raft. As soon as they pushed away from shore, the swift current carried them downstream out of control. The poor Scarecrow was pulled from the raft when his bowl stuck in the river mud. "Grab my tail, I'll try to pull you ashore," said the lion. It was hard work, but they finally gained the far bank. Then they persuaded a stork to rescue the Scarecrow. VIEW-MASTER Reel 2, Picture 1. After a night's sleep, they went in search of the yellow road. The birds sang and the flowers were bright. Big red poppies soon crowded out all over all the other flowers. "Aren't they beautiful?" said Dorothy. Their spicy scent made her sleepy. No longer able to walk, she fell headlong fast asleep. "What shall we do?" asked the lion. "She will die here. I can scarcely keep my eyes open and the dog's asleep too." "Run fast," said the Scarecrow. "Get out of these deadly flowers." Not being made of flesh, the Tin Woodman and the Scarecrow were not sleepy at all. They carried Dorothy and Toto to a sweet grass meadow well beyond the poppies. Here they found a lion, asleep but safe, and in the distance they saw the yellow road. Picture 2. They walked heavily along the yellow road. Dorothy sang and the Scarecrow tried to dance. He fell on his painted nose and they all laughed because he was not hurt at all. Ahead of them, a green glow filled the sky. Topping the crest of a high hill, they saw at the end of the yellow road the Emerald City. Arriving at the high city walls, they saw a little man clothed in green guarding the great emerald-studded gate. Picture 3. Spectacles, the Green Guardian told them. If you wanna see us, you must wear green spectacles. Otherwise the brightness of the Emerald City would blind you. Fitted with green glasses, they were led through a dazzling green city. Even the people were greenish. Little green-skinned boys and girls bought green lemonade and paid for it with green pennies. At the palace, a soldier with a long green beard heard their request to see the wizard, asked them to be seated, and disappeared. When he came back, Dorothy asked, "Have you seen Oz?" "Oh no," he replied, "I have never seen him, but he spoke to me from behind his screen." At first he was angry, but when I told him about your silver shoes, he consented to see you, one at a time. Picture 4. Dorothy was first to enter the throne room. There she saw an enormous head floating above the throne. It said, "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you and why do you seek me?" "I am Dorothy, the small and meek. I come to you for help." "Where did you get the silver shoes?" asked the voice. "From the Witch of the East. My house fell on her and killed her," she answered. "Now Toto and I would like to return to Kansas." Giant Eyes looked at her thoughtfully a full minute. The voice said, "Before I use my magic powers to send you home, you must do something for me. You must kill the wicked witch of the West." "Oh, how can I?" she sobbed. "I've never killed anything." "You killed the witch of the East," retorted Oz, "and you wear silver shoes which have a powerful charm. When the witch of the West is dead, I will send you home, but not before." The Scarecrow was next. To him, Oz appeared as a lovely lady. To the Tin Woodman, Oz was a 5-eyed monster. To the Lion, a ball of glowing fire. Each received the same answer. His request would be granted when the witch was dead. After the last audience with Oz, Dorothy mournfully asked, "What do we do now?" "There's only one thing we can do," said the Lion. "We must go to the land of the Winkies. Seek out the witch and destroy her." Picture 5. Early the next morning they started out for the land of the Winkies. By nightfall the Emerald City was left far behind. Their progress was watched by the Wicked Witch of the West. Although she was many miles away, she saw them approach in her magic globe. With each step they took, she grew angrier and angrier. In her cupboard was a golden cap whose wearer could call upon the winged monkeys. Donning it, she summoned them. To their leader she said, "Destroy the strangers within my land, all except the lion." Picture 6. As Dorothy and her friends walked along, they heard a rushing of many wings and a great chattering. The winged monkeys were upon them. The Tin Woodman was seized and dropped from a great height upon sharp rocks. Other monkeys caught the Scarecrow and pulled all his straw out. A swarm of them dropped nets over the lion and flew away with him to the witch's castle. Afraid of the silver shoes, they gently lifted Dorothy in their arms and flew her back to the witch. "We have obeyed as far as we are able," said the leader. "The little girl, as you can see, we dared no harm because she is wearing the silver shoes. Your power over us is now at an end. You will never see us again." Picture 7. Although afraid of the silver shoes, the witch decided that Dorothy knew nothing of their power. Unable to harm her, she put the girl to work as a kitchen slave. The lion, however, would not be harnessed and offered to bite the wicked witch. She tried to starve him, but Dorothy smuggled food to him at night. The witch schemed to steal the silver shoes. Dorothy only took them off at night and went bathing, but the witch was afraid of the dark and deathly scared of water. So she placed an iron bar on the kitchen floor and made it invisible. When Dorothy stumbled over it, one of her silver shoes flew off into the witch's hand. "Give me my shoe," Dorothy demanded. Being refused, the girl was so enraged that she threw a bucket of water on the terrified witch. The witch screamed, "Didn't you know that water would be the end of me?" With this, she melted away to nothing before Dorothy's eyes. VIEW-MASTER Reel 3, Picture 1. Recovering her silver shoe, Dorothy ran to tell the cowardly lion and the yellow Winkies that the witch was dead. They were free. The Winkies were so grateful that they searched the hills until they found the battered tin Woodman and the Scarecrow's empty clothes. A little hammering and polishing, a little stuffing with new straw, and both of them were as good as new once more. In the cupboard, Dorothy found a golden cap with strange words written inside. Putting it on, she said, "Epe, epepe, kake." There was a flapping of wings as the flying monkeys swarmed in the window. Their leader bowed low, saying, "What is your command?" "Carry my friends and myself back to the Emerald City," she said. Picture 2. The green-whiskered soldier was astonished to see the winged monkeys deposit them at the palace door. He let them in and took the news of the witch's death to the wizard. After waiting many days, the Scarecrow said, "Soldier, if we do not see us at once, we will call back to winged monkeys to see about our promises." Promptly the next morning, they were ushered into the throne room. It was empty, but from out of nowhere a voice said, "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Why do you seek me?" "We have come to claim our promises, O Oz," said Dorothy, a little vexed. "I've kept mine. I melted a witch of the West." "How sudden," said the voice. "I must have time to think." "You've had plenty of time to think," said the Tin Woodman. They were all angry. To frighten the wizard, the lion roared loudly. Startled, Toto jumped up and tipped over a screen behind the throne. Picture 3. The screen fell with a crash. Behind it stood a little old man. "Who are you?" cried Dorothy in great surprise. Trembling, the little man said, "I am Oz, the great and terrible." "I thought Oz was a giant head," said Dorothy. The others said they thought Oz was a lady, a beast, and a ball of fire. "No," he replied meekly, "I just used masks and voice tricks." "You're a humbug," the Scarecrow accused him sorrowfully. "Exactly," declared the man. "But ever since my balloon was blown over this beautiful land, I have been thought a great wizard by all the people. I let them continue to think so and have ruled them fairly and wisely, helping them to build this emerald city. My only fear was of the two wicked witches whose magic was real. Imagine how pleased I was when your house killed one of them. I was willing to promise anything to have you kill the other. Now I am ashamed to say I cannot keep my promises. He hung his head. Picture 4. I think you are a very bad man, said Dorothy. Oh no, I'm really a very good man, just a very bad wizard. Then I'll never have brains, said the Scarecrow. You don't need them, said Oz. Experience will teach you. That may be true, but I'll never be happy without brains. Well, said the little man, I'm not much of a wizard, but if you will see me tomorrow, I'll stuff your head full of brains. How about my courage? Asked the cowardly lion. True courage is facing danger when you are afraid. You have plenty of that. What you need is confidence, Oz told him. Perhaps, said the lion doubtfully, but I'm scared anyway. Very well, tomorrow I'll prepare some courage for you. And there's the matter of my heart, ventured the Tin Woodman. I think you are wrong to want a heart. It makes most people unhappy. But if you will come tomorrow, you shall have a heart. The next day the wizard took each in his turn. Removing the Scarecrow's head, he filled it with bran, pins and needles. He cut a square hole in the Tin Woodman's chest and installed a red silk heart full of sawdust. The lion lapped up a whole goblet of raw red courage, and the three were as happy as kings. Picture 5. But how am I to get back to Kansas? Asked Dorothy. We'll cross the desert in a great balloon, declared the wizard. For weeks they cut and sewed green silk into a great bag. On the last day they built a great fire and let the hot air swell the bag into a giant balloon. As the basket rose from the ground, tugging at the ropes that held it, Oz climbed in, addressing the crowd. I'm leaving for a visit. The Scarecrow will be your ruler. Dorothy ran to find Toto, who had chased a kitten. Securing the dog, she saw the balloon and Oz floating skyward, out of reach. Come back, she cried. Oh, don't leave me behind. I can't come back, Oz called down. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Picture 6. The Scarecrow was crowned king of the Emerald City at a magnificent ceremony. But later the throne room was a scene of great sadness. Poor Dorothy was stranded in the land of Oz. Suddenly a cloud formed near the throne, a cloud that took shape and became a lovely lady with rich red hair and kindly eyes that sparkled when she spoke. I am Glinda, the Witch of the South. Why are you all so sad? Dorothy told her everything, how homesick she was for Kansas, how much she missed Aunt Em. Bless you, child. I think I can help you get back to Kansas. Picture 7. Click your silver shoes together 3 times, the good witch went on, and they will carry you any place you command. You could have left the very first day you came to this country. But then I would still be brainless, said the Scarecrow. I would have rusted away without a heart, said the Tin Woodman. and I would have been a coward forever, growled the lion. This is all true, but now that you are all contented, said Dorothy, I should like to see Aunt Em and Uncle Henry again. She hugged Toto in her arms, clicked her heels 3 times, saying, Take me home. All at once she was stricken high above the clouds. 1 step, 2 steps, and 3, she landed, kerplunk on the Kansas prairie by a new farmhouse. Uncle Henry was milking cows, and Aunt Em ran out of the house toward her. Dorothy and Toto were home.